Okay, let's continue this conversation.
Okay.
So where we left off, you've now arrived the flying school in Dallas. You and 5 other Kenyans, and what I'm hearing from you, 5 other Kenyans had gone there before. So
Different.
a different group.
Yeah. Different. We were in Dallas. Others were in Arizona. Others we were taken to different Air Force bases. So
Yeah.
my particular group were in Laughlin Air Force Base,
Okay.
Del Rio, Texas. Yeah.
And the whole reason why you're there is to land the F5
It's
fighter
to
jet.
land jet flying.
Okay.
Jet flying. Yeah.
What's the difference between, and you mentioned a bit of this, so when you land there, do you start by first learning just the basics again of flying? How to take off, how to land, or they thought you had...
Take off, land in a jet is different.
Now it's in a jet.
It's different. It's the prop is the propeller goes, the aerodynamics are slightly different. Basically, an aircraft is an aircraft, but how it is powered is different.
Yeah.
So this is not land a jet. They behave a little differently. The propeller you put, you add the power on, which is called the throttle. It's just like your car, it just picks up. The jet, it has to, you know how a jet works. It sucks in air. The air goes into the chamber. Fuel is added to the chamber. There's a combustion, and then the exhaust is what propels you forward. So the whole thing is slightly different.
Okay.
But
So
yeah.
for a plane, how does a plane work? Just layman, like for example, what makes a plane take off? What makes a plane fly?
What makes a plane fly?
Passenger plane.
Okay. If you look at the basic aerodynamics, if I can very think,
Layman.
it's a concept of lift and drag. So you have the aerofoil of the aircraft. Yeah. As you're going through the air on the top moves faster than the air at the bottom. So that I wish I had a plane. It's able to.
By the way, imagine your hand is doing an amazing job. I get it.
You get it?
Yeah, I fully understand. So that's why the front of a plane looks the way it does.
Yeah, there's thrust, lift, and drag.
Okay.
So thrust brings you forward, the lift now takes you up or down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. So now you begin learning this jet fighter. And you said you started with the F.
We are flying trainers, just called T-37 and T-38.
Okay.
Which is now leading towards the F5, which is what we are flying in Nanyuki.
Can you remember the first time? What's the main difference from you were in a Bulldog before?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like going from a Boda to a Mercedes. Just zoom.
And what kind of, so of course you're with, this one you don't go alone. They don't allow you to fly it solo.
Oh, you do.
Whoa.
The same thing. You do your training with Mwalimu, you reach a point, you do your solo flight. And then how it would work is you come with me, my Mwalimu.
Yeah.
So we do another
and this time they're at the back, of course.
Maneuvers, at the back. The initial one was side by side, the other one was back and front.
Okay.
You do maneuvers, then the next flight I go on my own to practice.
Whoa.
So you teach me a loop, you teach me a roll, then I do my own on a low hour practice. Then you come and see how I've done, you correct me, again I go alone to practice. That's how it works.
This time, were there simulators? Were there those?
We did not have simulators.
So technology-wise, there was no simulator.
There was no simulator.
This is manual. This is a practical exam.
This is practical. You go and you do it.
In all of this time, have you had, I don't even know another word apart from a near-death experience with those things?
No.
At that time?
No, never.
What?
Never. Touch wood. I've never had. I've had, of course, you cannot go through without having things happen, like a small fire or engine fire, or you have lost a tire on the F5, landed on the stump. but nothing near death.
Okay.
As per near death.
Yeah.
Again, been lucky on that aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, your story is, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So how long do you spend training in Dallas?
We did 16 months.
Uh-huh.
We're there a total of 18 months.
Okay.
But you do like 4 months, get 2 weeks off, break. Christmas, you take a week off break.
But not coming home. You're
No coming home. And when we were there, that was 78.
Uh-huh.
It's when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta died. And I remember one of the 5 of us happened to see it on TV. He was called Bogwa. And he told us, so do you know Kenyatta died? Watch out. We didn't believe him. How can Kenyatta die? It's not possible. So anyway, once we confirmed, Kenyans, being Kenyan and being young, we told the major, whoever he was, said, our president died, so we need 2 days off. We are mourning. We will not be able to come to school today. And of course, to go out clubbing and run around. But he died when we were there.
Yeah.
He died when we were there.
Did you being in the army, did you feel that was a big thing? Did you feel, and I know you'll probably come to talk about it again, did you feel any change? Was there any phone call made to you guys as cadets, or
no?
There was nothing.
No.
There was no formal communication.
No, there was none.
Okay,
No,
but of course, doing
all.
military training.
But again, communication was so difficult then.
Yes.
They would have. Right now, you get an email or something very, very quickly, and this has happened. We had a liaison officer, Kenyan, who was now looking after all of us in the US. He's the one who would communicate, but you communicate through basically phone calls. You call and explain, then you tell the others, or he'll call all of us together and explain, or he'll come visit on a regular basis. Are you people okay?
Because he's checking all the different bases.
Yes, yeah. We're in like 3 or 4 different bases, so it's a lot of changes now. You just, send a WhatsApp and everybody gets to know what's happening. There was none of that, which was nice in a way to me.
So, okay, what happens then after? Where does the story progress to after this? Now you become, I don't know if the word is fluent, but a professional in flying.
Yeah, so we finished, came back to Kenya, and of course to Nanyuki, which was where the F5s were coming. By then, the first, I think 3 or 4 had arrived, F5s. So we're in Nanyuki, and then the rest came. Eventually, we got 12 in my time.
Okay.
I don't know what they have now. Yeah, so we came back, went to Nanyuki, and now started training on the F5. It was an easy transition because we had flown an F5 trainer. But now we are now doing more military stuff on air-to-air, air-to-ground. So that's the kind of stuff we are doing. Basically it was a fighter squadron.
And did you go do trainings in other countries?
Yes. There was a lot of training overseas, both the UK. Some people went back to the US to do what they call a fighter leading course. I was on that group. So there was a lot of training, and the instructors in Nanyuki were F5 instructors from the US Air Force. So they always had 1 or 2 there who do a rotation. They do a year, somebody else came. Some of them became very good friends. One of them later came to be the ambassador here. It's called Scott Gratian, if you remember. He was an F5 instructor. We first met in Nanyuki. He was actually my instructor. So then years later, he's posted here as the ambassador because of he could speak a bit of Swahili. He had been brought up in Kenya, actually, in Congo and Kenya, missionaries in Kijabe, and joined the Air Force and posted here to train us. So there's a bit of a history there. So
your introduction is literally combat in terms of from the flight perspective, not travel, enabling passengers to get from one location to the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
You here, you're in the protection game.
Yeah.
Your job is to protect us as Kenyan civilians.
Yes.
From let's even leave alone a training perspective from just flying. Mentally, this is a whole different level of how they are training you to protect a Kenyan's life. This is war. This is combat. They're training your mind for war.
Yeah.
How is that?
I have to say we are very well trained, and there's a lot of psychological
preparation.
Yeah, if I can say that. Both in the US and also in Nanyuki, we had a lot of those kind of trainers that would sit with you. We had what they call aviation doctors. We had psychologists who would come and train you. But I must say it's not something we never ever thought of. I never thought about it. In my Nanyuki days, 2 or 3 times we were what they call scramble. Scramble means we always had our team ready in case of something happened. And twice on a weekend, we were scrambled to go check some aircraft that was not communicating. I remember doing that twice. You are scrambled. Scramble means get airborne within 2-3 minutes. Then you're guided by radar to where this unknown aircraft is. Both of them were just civilian little things that were not communicating, maybe had veered off the wrong area.
Yeah.
But we never, we did not have any combat. There was some before my time. They were using strike masters and the like when they had issues in Isiolo and other places. But in my days, we never had such.
Okay.
As a young man, youth, we used to yearn for
You're like, let's go to battle.
Some action.
Let's go shoot some people.
Shoot somebody, but anyway, it didn't happen.
Okay. But then leading up, I want to ask this question. So first and foremost, my apologies when I did my introduction of you, I forgot to mention that you're also a husband and a father to 2, and your wife, who at that time was also in Nanyuki.
Yes.
And when I had the privilege of having an amazing conversation with her, we're talking about none other than Jinadine Kariuki. And when she talked about you, it was in connection with the coup. But before getting the coup, let's get to some happier times of how did you meet her?